3. It's a dark fantasy game. It features voice performances from English actors Charlie Cox and Andy Serkis. It was designed by a small French studio called Sandfall Interactive, beating out some higher budget titles for Game of the Year. It also won Best Narrative and Best Art Direction. Creative director Guillaume Broche said he hopes the game inspires others to make games that come from the heart, that are sincere, and that are beautiful. Let's talk more about it. BBC reporter and the host of the Naked Gaming podcast, Chris Berrow, is in London. Chris, tell us about Clair Obscur, this game which just really seemed to kind of sweep the awards.
Yeah, it won 9 out of its 10 categories that it was nominated in, so a bit of a surprise, really. A game that people didn't know too much about, even though it was released in April this year. And so the title is the first obstacle to tackle. If you know the Italian term chiaroscuro, which is that art form which is to do with like light and dark and shades and stuff like that, the French phrase for that is Clair Obscur, so that's where that part of the title comes from. And then Expedition 33, it's an interesting one. In the game, you're on an expedition, the 33rd one, to try and defeat this sort of all-powerful, mighty boss. And it's quite a kind of dark nature to the story. Like the priestess, as she's called, puts up a big number on a huge tower way out at sea. And like, let's say the number's 34. What that means is that everybody in the world isn't allowed to live past the age of 34. So they all kind of go on these expeditions every year. This is the 33rd one, and you've got to try and take down this sort of evil god who's, you know, doing nasty stuff to the people there.
Wow, and some impressive graphics we can see there on the screen next to you. A small studio produced this game.
It's absolutely unbelievable. So the guy, you mentioned Guillaume Broche, he's the kind of director of the game. He was working for a huge gaming company you probably heard of called Ubisoft. They do the Assassin's Creed games and stuff like that. He decided during COVID that he wanted to go and make a game that he really felt would be like some of the childhood games that he loved. Final Fantasy, those kind of Japanese role-playing games. So he decided to leave his job, start out on his own. He put out a call on forums, on the internet, like Reddit. He said, does anybody know how to make game graphics? Does anyone want to do some voices in our game? And it really was just this online effort where he just said to people, get on board, come and join the team. And from that starting point, he found actors, he found graphics designers, he found YouTube tutorials on how to actually design a game. He actually says, there's a great quote, he said, we had no idea how to make a game before YouTube tutorials existed. So he really used this whole kind of sort of underdog story to create this game. Like you say, the fantastic graphics that you can see. And I think that's his story, and the actual story of the game, that dark side, is what people have been captured by so much when it comes to this, and that's why it's won, you know, like I say, 9 out of 10 awards, including the big one, Best Game.
Yeah. There was also a bit of controversy, I guess. A game used AI. This was the Arc Raiders game. It won a prize as well, didn't it?
Yeah, so Arc Raiders is a little bit like those other massive, you know, multiplayer games online where you've got a team of people, you're going out and collecting stuff, loot, whatever. And what they did was they asked their voice actors to sign a little thing that said, by the way, we don't want to keep coming back to you for years and years to come, asking you to re-record extra bits for this game. So what they did instead was they said, if you just allow us to use a text-to-speech model so we can type stuff and use your voice, put it through some AI, and we can get you to say whatever you like. The actors all signed up to this, they agreed to it, they get royalties for all the new lines that are made. But it's still quite controversial because, unlike traditionally where you have to go away and ask the actors to come back to the booth and say a few more lines, this time they don't have to bother with all of that. And there's worries that in the future, if this becomes more commonplace, of course, that means that actors won't be needed at all, and you could just type the words and they'll get used in games. So that's the concern, but it won Best Multiplayer. A lot of fun to be had playing that one.
All right. Chris Berrow, BBC reporter and host of the Naked Gaming podcast. I have to say I was a bit worried about the title of that podcast, but great to see you there in front of us, clothed. Great analysis there. Lots more coming up at the top of the hour on BBC.